Good to go.
Right, we have Jack and Ethan from Liverpool Health and Wellbeing. Thanks very much, boys, for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
welcome.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So, first off, anyone's watching on YouTube, sorry, we've only got one mic. I've fucked up and forgot to bring mine. First off, I'm not just saying this, but I'm genuinely excited because it's one of those podcasts where I know the conversation will make me feel good about myself.
Yeah.
And going forward, I'll feel positive. And sometimes it's great doing podcasts and you just hear about someone's life, whereas no one used to and what you're doing in the city.
Yeah.
It's got a feel good buzz factor about it. So, first off,
I like that.
exciting
It's a nice
me,
little
though.
intro. I like
yeah,
that.
well, no, genuinely, I am excited. So, I first knew you, Jack, through being a personal trainer at Hoffit.
Yeah.
And then when I think, and again, this is testament to use, when I think of yous too, I think of just like young, clean, healthy eating people. Do you know what I mean? Just young, fresh, healthy people.
I mean, that's a massive compliment because I'm not that young, even though he's younger than me. But I feel the same. I feel like everything that we do is, the lifestyle is just genuinely health, well-being, everything about it, from even celebrating birthdays now. I recently, for my birthday in July, I just
Can you
love...
turn 40, was it?
We asked this the other day, who always looks younger, but I've got a snide haircut at the minute. And
He was gutted because he always thinks it's him, and he always voted that it was him being the eldest.
It was something like 60-40%, and I was just like, text the lad saying, who are these? Because I'm going to find them. Have a shave and then ask. But touching back on it, I just want to do something that's a bit exciting and getting out there, getting out in nature, or it could be anything, but it's completely changed from let's have a 3-day piss up when I was 18.
Yeah.
We went to North Wales, didn't we? North Wales, Coast Erin.
I seen it on your Instagrams, yeah.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. And you wouldn't even think you were in like North Wales
Oh,
or
the
Wales.
water was like crystal clear. It was, what was it, like a 2-hour drive?
Yeah, it was worth it.
And basically, you get a wetsuit, a helmet, and a pair of, you have to wear your own shoes. And you just climb along the coast of the country and just jump in off the cliffs.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Get back
where is
up.
this?
North Wales.
So really, yeah.
Amazing.
To be honest, we followed them on Instagram, so we'll just tag you in it.
We actually got there, and the guy was like, when was it? It was like when they started saying, right, you can start going out in groups. So it was still sort of in lockdown a little bit. The guy, we first turned up and the guy went, just be honest, are you bothered about coronavirus? And we all just went, we're all best mates. He went, sound. So if you want to like put your hand on my shoulder on the edge of the cliff,
If I need to save you, is that all right? And we just, just deal with it.
because some people are a bit funny. We were like, no, it's fine. And then he said, you've got a perfect day. The sun was out. And the water was a bit cold, that's why you'd have a wetsuit on, and then you piss in them and it warms you up a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
And we were just, it was boss, wasn't it? Like 30, the highest one we done was about 30 foot, just jumping in. Oh,
It's
quality,
definitely right up your street.
I've done it before with the Marines, yeah, but again, it's not something, again, that as like a young lad in Liverpool, you don't think, or for a birthday, when you think 30th, let's just go on a piss. You don't think that you do that for a birthday or something.
Like last year's, I turned 30 last year, and I was adamant I wanted to do some sort of retreat, and I wanted people to come, but sometimes it's not always available. Obviously, people have got kids and all that, so I was just like adamant to do it. And I was looking Greece, Spain, anywhere. I'll just go, whether it would be a yoga retreat, a training retreat, and there was something wrong with every one I found. And I was just like, whether it be the price or whether it be what type of training it is or the food, and I was just like, Next minute, Sean texts me from KO8. He was like, I tell you what, I've got a boss idea. Give me a couple of hours. And he sent me like a PDF, like a proper busybody, didn't he? A PDF of 7 days of nothing but activity. And I was just like,
this is in Dubai, Sean.
yeah, because Sean lived in Dubai, and I was just like,
I was so jealous, to be honest. It looked amazing.
just went sold.
Because I said to him, I'll take you Coast Erin for your birthday. And he went, actually, I'm going to Dubai for a 7-day retreat. I was like, oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't worry about me.
And obviously Dubai is like London, fast, big city, and it was just everything that you would have wanted and more, because it's
You wouldn't think of that for a retreat, would you?
not even in Dubai. Exactly. So people were like, a retreat in Dubai, and I was just like, we made it ourselves. Well, Sean made it all, but it was a case of the best boutique gyms, then mobility work, stretching work, windsurfing, anything, beach workouts. and it was every day. We cycled on the F1 track in Abu Dhabi, and there was just every day. And then the last 2 days we had a few drinks, but it was
the kind of week that you could make a documentary out of. No time that cheesy, but you could. You go, everything he was doing, I was going, I'm fucking sitting at home, it's pissing down, going, fucking hell, man.
But it's something that you go, that would be a job and a half. If you could do that every day,
So was this something that Sean had just done himself?
Because obviously we've got a group chat, and every day I was like, oh, what do you think of this, boys? And I was just texting in like a website of saying, oh, look at this. But as a trainer, I've done yoga for so long, and I've been a trainer for so long. I was like, I wouldn't really be happy with that trainer. It doesn't look like something that the energy that I'd given a class. I was just like, and I've got to pay this much. In the end, he come up with, as I say, 7 days.
Because he's got a lot of contacts as well. It was easy for him to go, this would be good. We can get in there. That would be good. It was just a big 7-day.
Yeah,
even the food, everything he wrote down, we'll go and eat here, we'll go and do this. So
yeah, and the way I eat as well, he really did go to town on it. I was just like, let's go and find these vegan places and stuff. And
I need to upgrade my mate if your mate are doing that for you for your birthday.
Well, just text him and just go.
He didn't pay for him though.
I was like, that do I have to pay for 2 here? But there was some things there that you wouldn't expect to buy, and it was unbelievable. Like that, even cycling down the F1 track, it was free. Because they're trying to promote, they have every year they have a subject, don't they, that they want to cover, and that was the year of happiness or something like that. So they were like, everyone needs to be happier if it means healthier.
Imagine Boris Johnson going, right, this year's the year of happiness.
Everyone can ride around the Olympic park just for free.
But did you find then, if you wanted to do that for your birthday, that like you had a thing personally, or did you find it with your group of mates where you wanted to kind of knock the ale on the head, or was that just you, or was it,
to be honest, we are tit and tat, so we do like the same things. Ethan,
out of our group of mates, there's some are into fitness, some aren't. If we say it's like they do like it, but if we say to them, right, the choices are, let's go and climb a mountain, or let's go and get pissed. Some of them will go, I'll climb a mountain. Some of them will go, I'll get pissed. Or we might decide on, we'll climb a mountain and then get pissed. Kind of find the balance, you know what I mean? But
I think it's brilliant as well. Like, nothing against that, but I'd love to just get up early and just do something that I've earned, and I'm just like, this is brilliant.
And you feel good after it. And
I must admit, since again, and knowing you for a few years, it's definitely the last few years it's become cool, I think, not to drink every weekend and not to do this. And I've always thought of you have been at the forefront because you've always had ideas of why don't we do this and that. And then I remember I was dating this girl, Jessie, and she just took her on a date and she didn't drink. I thought that was crazy. I was like, what, you've not drank for 6 months? This is mad. And she was into rock climbing, she was into running, she was into this. And I was like, well, that's just quite cool. Like, you're not like a sheep like everyone else. And again, when I think of like lads doing it, I always think of you doing that kind of lifestyle. And it is becoming more popular.
Definitely, and so it should be. I remember when I first started HotFit, there was like a surge of juices, smoothies coming out, and the reason I recognised it was because obviously HotFit done their drinks after it, but the thing to do was get your drink, take a picture, because it had the logo on and said basically, I've done a class. Now people looked at that, was going posting about because you've been to HotFit because it's cool, but it was a good cool because it proved that they'd done a session, whether it be yoga or whether it would be a workout or whatever. And then on top of that, they're drinking this healthy smoothie.
Like, even if it is brilliant. A trend, it's a trend where people go, actually, I do feel good off this, you know. So it's not just, I might be doing it because everyone else is doing it, but now I'm doing it and go, actually, I feel good. I'm going to carry it on. I'm going to continue it. I'm going to preach it. And then that's just, I like the way it flows like that.
Yeah, it's only, I think it's only going to get better. There's loads of things that are coming up, but especially in the city, there is a big wave of things going on now. And I'm not saying we want to be at the forefront of it, but we want to be that hub where we can guide people into the right direction. Especially, say if you live somewhere that's not really close to you, or you're unaware of it. That's what we essentially want to do in the end. But yeah, touching back on going in HotFit, it's just, well, training in general. It made me realise that there's so many people who are interested in health, well-being, but there's so many things related to it. So many. It could be a case of yoga, or it could be a case of walking up FAMU. It could be anything. Like, there's not a strict thing where you need to do this. You don't even have to train, as in like go to a workout class. You can do something totally different that people are like, that looks weird, that, like on a video, but essentially it's working out. Zumba, would I try Zumba? Probably not.
I'd like to try it.
If you will,
I ain't stick to it, but I'd like to try it.
But it's one of them exercises where you're like,
it's just movement, isn't it? And once you move and you release them endorphins, no matter what you do, you're always going to feel good after it. And I think that's where we thrive off, that like rush of doing something active, doing something. I prefer to be like in a group or with someone, and just the energy that you get from it. It's like, it's a drug. Well, it is a drug, isn't it? So you've got that endorphin that releases, and you just go, I want that again, but more of it, and then again, and you push yourself and you push yourself. And
mate, when we came back off the beach with Mark Scanner, Jesus Christ, like I was fucking flying, weren't we? Like, it was incredible.
And that's like you just said,
early morning.
It's that thing. There'll be some people on that beach you want to go for the photo and say I was there.
Exactly.
But whatever your reasons are for being there, it doesn't matter, because now you know the benefits of it.
Yeah. Even if it's the placebo effect.
I think the biggest thing about that
matter.
is the community as well. Being part of something it was massive, wasn't it? I didn't get a chance to go, but I know just by looking at everyone's pictures, there was kids in the sea, and it just looked amazing. And you just think, if you can build that community, which Liverpool's got a fantastic community, and the health and wellbeing industry is just getting bigger and bigger. And as Liverpool Health and Wellbeing, that's what we kind of want to help promote from all different corners of the city. Everyone who's trying to do something to help anyone, whether it's people with special needs, whether it's people doing rock climbing. There's so many people doing amazing things in the city. We just want to be able to say, okay, well, if we build this massive network, then you never know that your little rock climbing company might really help this special needs school, or do you know what I mean? And if everyone can just link together, and the city just blows up with colours of health and happiness, that's a win for us. That's all we're aiming for.
Yeah.
And all it takes is that little drop, like that drop and throwing in the sort of stone into the pond, and then
the
it just fucking ripple effects, everything.
Well, when we first came into Liverpool Health and Wellbeing through the back of working in schools, that was the idea. We started doing like festivals and retreats and things like that, and they were amazing. Started off really small. First festival we done was just thrown together. There was 150 people turned up. We didn't know many of them.
That's a lot of people for the first one.
It was phenomenal. We were like blown away.
I thought you were going to say the first one was like 20 people or something.
Well, even if you go back before then, before it even all started, if you go to day one, when I first met you, Andy, we had the company called Trainee to Educate, and I needed a PT company name. So I was like, right, what can we call ourselves? Well, what can I call myself? And I just wanted to just be straight to the point. So I train, I eat, and then I educate, and that's all I wanted, because there's loads of people, loads of PTs, there's loads of coaches out there, but I just thought, well, I'm gonna tell and educate people how I practice, and if they don't want to do that, that's fine, but this is how I do it. So I'll essentially practice what I preach. But what happened was, it was actually in Hoffit again. They're getting loads of shout outs tonight. I walked into Hoffit and I seen this guy, his name's Peter, and I hadn't seen him since school. I was like, what are you doing here? And just a little general chit chat, and I said, what are you doing now? And he said to me, I'm a teacher. I'm head of sport in one of the junior schools. And then as he said that, my brain started ticking, and then I just said to him, without even looking at him, just like looked away and went, they're the most important people. And he was like, what are you on about? And I went, the kids, our next generation. Then the class started, and then as I've delivered the class, I'm just thinking, like, what can we do here? I had a conversation after it, and just like, oh, cool, I'll see you soon. Then a few days later, he left me a voice note, and it just said, Jack, I've just been in a conference with 50 schools. The three topics of the three subjects were mental health, nutrition, and exercise. And then I pressed pause, and then I rang him and said, Peter's just left me this voice note. What do you think? should we start going into schools? Now, the reason why we didn't initially or already do it was because we wasn't aware how to get into schools. We didn't know, we didn't even know many teachers, or we thought we'd never. And then the rest of the message just said to me, well, can you come up with a program that can deliver these 3 topics or subjects? And we just went, let's make a program.
When you think about when I was in school as well, no one gave a fuck what you were eating, did they, or what exercise you were doing?
That was one of the questions I asked them. I said, since we've left school, what's actually different? What's changed? Is the cookery classes now or whatever? And he said, since we've left, nothing's changed. And that to me was scary.
I think a big thing for us that we've seen as well is we've got a niece and nephew who are now, they're both 7 at the minute. At the time they were 3 or 4, maybe even a little bit younger. Now I've got my own studio, I've got my own business, which the kids would come to the studio and they'd love it. Set up a little obstacle course, they'd love it, then they'd be at home and they'd look at what we're eating, like avocado. I didn't know what an avocado was till I was 19.
Mate, I had this conversation the other day. It was when I was dating a girl and she gave me an avocado. And I was like, what the fuck's this? I didn't eat an avocado till I was about 23 or something.
Yeah, didn't even know what it was. And then, even the fruits and stuff, and the kids love it. And I'm going...
I just remember it back in the day, prawn cocktail.
Yeah.
But that avocado, I never questioned it. I was like... But
I think avocados are in a posh person's house as well, though, really.
And you know what else I didn't eat? This is says more about my childhood. I didn't eat and I absolutely love it now. Asparagus. I remember not eating asparagus for
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Your chef might have cooked you one time, I don't know, but I never. I always remember an avocado thinking, where have these been all my life?
Yeah, it's just phenomenal.
But it's that thing, I've been growing up in maybe certain areas of Liverpool where I grew up, Bootle. Listen, my mum and dad done the best they could for me, but I just remember eating a lot of frozen food, a lot of just quick meals.
See, our mum loves home cooking, and she'd make spaghetti bolognese, lasagnas and all that, but it had your normal, your carrots, your celery, your mince, things that you're just used to having. That if you look at it, most of it is seasonal veg. Avocado, it was a bit more of a luxury.
It is
back
exotic,
then anyway.
to be honest.
And we do get it when it's out of season a lot of the time because it just comes so people want it, and it's easy, isn't it, to get? But I think it is more accessible now. But certainly back when we were younger, it was just not even heard of.
No.
So there's no kids cooking classes at all,
Yeah.
Oh, there is, obviously there is.
I think there is more to what when the main reason we got into schools was we were speaking to different teachers, and Jack was speaking to the head who'd been speaking to loads of different schools, but on the agenda was obesity is the highest it's ever been, and the food that comes with that is even worse. And then kids are starting to get depressed, and we were I didn't even know what depression was. Same again, what's going on? So then we said, okay, we need to step in and try and do something here. And the link that we had was one of my clients. She was a deputy head for the school in Anfield, and she'd been coming in the studio, and I was just kind of picking her brain, saying, what do you think would be the idea? And then the best thing was her sister was the head. So head, deputy head, siblings, perfect.
Yeah, we had a bit of a winner to...
Yeah, so she said, do you want to come in and have a chat with us? And we were yeah. We said, we don't know really how to go about it, I've been to Camp America, so I've been with kids a little bit. Jack, not so much. And we didn't really know the best way to go about it. And they said, well, why don't you work with us for a week? We'll help you write a programme. You help us deliver it. And we can kind of work together. And that's what we done. And it was an eye-opening week. We learnt a lot. It was, some bits were a little bit nerve-wracking, weren't they? Having our first day. We walked in, there was an assembly of year 3 to year 6.
Do you know when you're on your driving test, remember that? And you're shitting yourself.
No, it's
that's a tough audience, that age. I've done I tend to only do year 6 now, left, it's quite tough.
But year 6 left, and there was two classes of 25 kids. Year 6 stayed. And I'm quite confident in that sense. I thought, I've been with kids, I know what I'm doing, blah, blah. And he just walked behind me and went, do you want to take this one? Like that. I've never seen him like that. I just went,
I'm confident as much as I am. I just seen these kids, and they were talking to each other,
looking at
each other, and we were and I was just what walked past him and just went, you take this one. And
it was only an introduction.
Yeah, it was hi, we're Ethan and Jack. Oh, sorry, Jack and
No,
Ethan.
it was Ethan and Jack, and then after he pulled me, I went, can you just start calling us Jack and Ethan?
Bullshit.
You weren't happy.
But everyone thought he was
So then
older.
that was it. We just started with we done a week with them. We built this program.
It was amazing. Like, honestly, at the end of it, we still now get messages from that same year, whether it be on Instagram or whatever.
Well,
saying,
it is really Instagram, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just saying thanks. You look like you're doing great. Can you come back into our new school, wherever they may be? Because obviously they're in senior school now. But they sent us like big cards, and obviously teachers get that, not all the time, but they'd see it. But to us, no client's gonna make us a card. But it was,
and it's a feeling like you're laying the foundations for their life. Do you know what I mean?
We could have an impact on a lot of their lives, and I think we did, and a lot of them changed. And one of the best things for us was we got invited to go back to our secondary school, St Margaret's, which was when you're in school and you see an ex-pupil come back and you're like, oh, he's doing really well, isn't it? And that's what it felt like for us and the kids. It was like we work with year 7 and then we work with the 6th form as well. So it was like 2 completely different audiences, but you could relate to them both in 2 different ways. But going back to the school and like being in the staff room and seeing some of your old teachers and they're going, all right, boys. And I was going, all right, sir. And you're going, you can call me Steve now, you know. And I was like, oh, thanks. That was mad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was going back to the St Margaret's one. It was good feeling because not only did we deliver one of our programs, they asked us to come back and before we went in, they said, can you do like a seminar on positivity? And we were looking at each other going, well, we've never done that before. And they were like, no, we've seen your program, you've delivered it to year 7, year 8, and listen, anything that you can do, if you can create something. So we were like, what should we do? So we made our slideshows are very basic because we like to talk to people, and they are to us just bullet points.
We don't like a script, something. We just kind of go.
So we don't have to, like, we don't even wing it. We're just like, right, this could be a career path for you. You don't always have to go to uni. You don't always have to go to college. There's loads of things you can actually do. But the most important part is what you're doing in day-to-day life. So if you're getting up and you're just like, I can't be bothered with school, it's shit, it's this, your mentality's that. So then it was just talking a little bit about routine every day. And it was just little things that you can see in the audience. People just like trying to go to kip, and then we were like, get up now, everyone stand up, everyone shake themselves, come on, breathe, and they'd be like, and because the lads, they just want to be the most dramatic, so they're like,
the alpha male kind of thing comes out.
They're not realising the blood's pumping around the body, and we're like, come on, let's go a little bit faster, come on. And then exactly what he just said, the alpha comes out in them. Then they're alert, they sit up,
but
and
then
say,
they release endorphins, and then they don't, without realising it, then they start going. And because you can relate to that kind of audience, which you've done the same, haven't you? And when you kind of just work with your audience, and we learnt that massively. But then I think this is where like we built into Liverpool Health and Wellbeing, was because especially with the younger ones, we were teaching them a lot about broccoli and healthy foods and all this kind of stuff that we wish we were taught as kids. And one of the deprived areas, Anfield, right food, daddy, next day, what did you have? Chips and beans. What did you have for your breakfast? Cocoa Pops.
What about that Brazilian guy?
Was this my diary that you I remember literally like from school,
Cocoa Pops.
I used to have shreddies, and I used to have cheese, chips and beans.
Did you?
Every single day in school.
It's mad. That was the norm though.
I got a can of Fanta.
Yeah.
Chips, cheese and beans. It come to £1.8. I always remember it. I mean, that was my day.
Didn't even make sense.
Is that in school?
In school.
Yeah.
Chips, cheese and beans.
Every day.
To be fair, like,
and a chocolate cookie maybe.
Our parents have, for us looking back at it now, they absolutely smashed it for us, because they just, my mum didn't even drink until we were, I'd say, nearly teenagers. So she was just like,
and then we drove her to the drink.
Yeah. every meal she'd make, like homemade, whatever, like that's 90% of the food, whether it be a spag bol. Okay, it had meat and chicken and all that, but it'd be chicken pasta. So when we brought like mates around or friends and cousins around, I always felt embarrassed And it was the fact that if I ever went to their house, I'll tell you, if I ever went to their house, it would be chicken dippers, chips, beans,
kids meals kind of
everywhere. Everywhere I went, and then in the morning it'd be jam on toast and shreddies or frosties, whatever. In our house, it was the opposite. So my mum would make these home-cooked meals, and don't get me wrong, they were delicious, but I was almost embarrassed, and I used to say to me mates, whether they used to remember or whatever, I used to go, it's not always like this, it's because...
sometimes we're allowed chicken dippers.
It's because the shops didn't have the chicken dippers in or something, and it'd be all the same.
Which is mad when
and
you think about it.
That is mad, that.
They never used to let us have, like,
we weren't allowed
sugary cereal,
Pops.
Cocoa Pops,
Coke, unless it was Christmas.
It was
and
mad.
the best thing, like Christmas Day, we always used to get a bowl of Cocoa Pops like 6 a.m.
Like that was our Christmas, not like Christmas.
How nice is that though? That's
phenomenal. Like we are the opposite of some people where they've had a shitty upbringing and they've had a terrible time, which I know people have that, but we haven't got that. We've had the opposite where we haven't been spoiled rotten, but we've just been looked after, and they've fed us the way they think was healthy.
And it takes discipline on their part to
massively. I mean, you look at this is the biggest example. We went to the school, this is the same in Anfield, and we said, can we go in the canteen? They were like, yeah, come and see the kids. The kids wants to show us what they were eating. Some are packed lunches, some are cooked dinners, and the catering staff are like external caterers. As soon as we walked in, from Liverpool Health and Wellbeing on, you could see them like daggering, snarling us, and we're going, oh no. And we walked over, and the teachers were going, we're a bit gutted today because it's American Day. Burgers, pizzas, all shit, right?
It's a terrible day to go.
But the kids are like that, loving it, which, you know, you do as a kid. So we just looked over, like, at a glance, didn't want to go over because these women were like that, fuming. And we said, why can't you just have like one option of like a salad, or even just like a pasta salad or something with a bit of green in it? Because it was just all like beige food. And the teacher said, I'll be honest, one time we took away the pizza and we had like this big healthy dish.
Full riot.
And we got 27 complaints off the parents, not off the kids, off the parents, saying, why are you depriving our kids of pizza? And it's just, and to me that is a discipline. Like, you should be going, listen, you need to eat something healthy. My mum would say to us, if you don't like it, you're not having nothing else.
Yeah.
Whereas now they go, okay, what do you want? Have this. Yeah, I'll have some of that. And they just...
Now it's the opposite.
And you know what, mate? It's I can vouch for that, mate. I'm a parent. Obviously, my little girl, she's 6 in October, and she's a fuss eater. And I know sometimes, mate, I'm a single parent, and if I'm not the greatest chef, and if
we know that, Andy,
everyone knows that now. It's tough as a parent though, because again, if I'm not educated in the way you are in food, and if I cook something and she doesn't like it, it's easy to just bang in a pizza, or it's just a go-to. Yeah. And if you're working a 9 to 5, you come home to 3 kids or whatever.
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%.
You can totally understand why.
We can say this because we haven't got kids. So
being a parent's probably the toughest job out there.
Yeah, it's 24/7, isn't it? Constantly. So I understand that, and I understand it's convenient, but also it's cheaper sometimes, isn't it? And because we were never taught it. Like, that's where we led on to going on to Liverpool Health and Wellbeing, because we said, right, let's invite the parents in, and let's either have a chat with the parents or get the parents and the kids involved in some way or another, that the parents can see the kids having fun, the kids can see the parents getting involved. Hopefully they'll go home and say, right, mum, let's do this together.
It's just
the couple of schools that we tried it was just fell flat on its arse. Like 2 or 3 had turned up, so many excuses, it just wouldn't work, and we were like...
And even the couple that turned up,
we're like half not interested.
Just like they had to turn up.
It was like, because we were younger than a lot of them, it felt like we were patronising them a little bit, going, this is how you parent, when we weren't.
Actually, before we'd done it, because we'd never done it before in terms of getting the parents in, we wrote a spreadsheet of different shops, so like Tesco, Aldi,
food lists and all
food list and prices, and said, this could probably feed you for a week.
Onto the recipes of it.
Yeah.
And it's just really nice.
No, it's a lot of effort as well on your part.
Yeah. I mean, we're never going to give up on it, but we're on our whatever you want to call it, whether it's a journey or path, and loads of things just keep coming up to us, and we do put things on the back, but it's always there. We've always got it ready, saved and ready to go, because we'd love to hit every idea with 100 miles an hour that we possibly can. But at the end of the day, for the majority of the 2 companies, it's only ever been us 2. And then we've still got the personal trainers, the personal training side, and then everything else, like the classes on top of it. So it's trying to find the time.
It's a great thing to have on the back burner, because that's something which it almost becomes like a fad on the news, doesn't it? They'll talk about it for a while, school dinners, and then it goes away, and then it comes back again, and then and what's it like, the obesity now with children? Is it?
Well, back in 2017, this was the biggest shock. Like, I read a stat, and we used to have to read stats because it was our way of getting into the schools without sounding like, oh, well, look at this and selling point. But the obesity, so there's a drug called Orlistat, and that is a drug for obesity. So you take it and it basically starves you, and it'll like make you have the shits and everything. So in the northwest, there's the highest like rate of Orlistat, but not just so not just the northwest. I'm talking the top 4 was Liverpool based: Knowsley, Sefton, Liverpool, and what was the other one? It'll come to me in a minute, but it was all Liverpool, and it was like.
And is that down just to food, or you just think because of computers and stuff like that, or
there's so many different factors, isn't there? And social media, staying at home, and even going down to like insecurities. They just think, well, I'll emotionally eat. When we were kids, you just play out all the time, or
goof around.
Yeah, and
when we were
just turn the American out, you know,
just goofing around.
Just like the likes of playing Kirby, or the likes of. I was going to say something else then. Just the likes of what's it?
I just never ever used to be in the house like as a kid. No,
used to get up in the morning.
My
mum would make us.
When you get a BMX, you'd be out all day.
An egg muffin. We call it an egg muffin, but it was a black one. It was me at home. It was well better actually, wasn't it?
Probably slightly healthier.
Proper nice one. Then we'd eat that. We'd watch SmackDown. We'd watch Pokemon.
SmackDown, yeah.
And then Pokemon, then SmackDown, and then we'd go out.
We'd fight for 3 hours then, thinking we were The Rock. And
then we'd go out for fucking 8 hours. Come back
with a black eye, and my mum would say, "Why have you let him get beat again?" You won, mum.
All the time.
But touching on like the nutrition side, it's beyond terrifying. How bad people are promoting nutrition, and there you go.
Yeah, I've got it up here. Yeah.
And I didn't even know there was an obesity drug.
Yeah, there's got to be, because it leads to so
what
many
people
things.
are obese, then they just give them
Isn't
these.
That how fucking stupid's that? Why don't they just go, move your ass, stop eating so much shit? But they're just terrified.
What does Ricky Gervais say about people who are like, fuck you, what is it about cake? He's like, just that, isn't it?
Stop
eating
cake.
Fat cunt.
Yeah. That's it.
It's not
it's sometimes you just need to tell them that. And, well, not sometimes, all the time. Right, get up, move.
You know, when I was doing PTing for a bit as well, one exercise I used to love, just the simplest exercise, you'd go lie down, stand up, lie down, stand up, lie down.
Do you know the majority of people can't do that without the hands? Even if you sit down on the floor, cross-legged or whatever, majority of people can't get up without using the hands.
A lot of people can't even cross the legs.
Yeah, and that tells us,
isn't it,
like when I do my warm-up, I'm not sure whether you remember it or not, like the main reason I do my warm-up, and Ethan's the same, and is you've got to figure out what people can do and what they can't do, because if I notice something in that warm-up, and it's very easy because everyone's doing the same and it's all very slow and controlled, it's not, right, a million star jumps, high knees, burpees, whatever, that'll come after we do a little bit of mobility. And it's a case of, I can see now where your range is, and I can see what you can do and what you can't do. So if you've got really tight shoulders, you won't be pressing above your head, because I can't put that pressure on your shoulders because you're not ready to do that. So I'll change the exercise for you. But I can notice that, and touching back on people can't stand up without using the hands, that's a good, and it's an indication of you need to move more, and not just go for a run. You need to literally open up your hips, open up your joints. And
they're just saying, isn't it, if you don't use it, you lose it. And so many people have lost it.
I think back to my time in the Marines, and you know, I'm not saying everyone needs to be Marine fit, but you were all like, you know, really healthy individuals. And then I done Snowdon last week with a team of guys who work in a restaurant down in Crosby. I got asked to go on their team building day. Really fantastic group of people, but for a lot of them it was the first time they'd ever climbed a mountain. And they're all young people, and I just remember thinking, like, and this isn't me knocking them in any way because they don't know any difference, but I was thinking at 19, 20, 21, I was at the prime of my life, even with one leg. I was still climbing, you know. And yet these people are like I think 18 of them tried it, and only like 7 got to the top.
Really? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
50% less?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some a few old, some a bit older as well, and that. But yeah, like people in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and they didn't get up.
Yeah.
You know, and it was such a shame. Listen, the weather was horrendous, but I just always think back to what I was like when I was their age, and I think
I just don't want to ever be at that stage. I want to challenge myself. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to do nothing ridiculous, but I want to push myself always. And that's when we first started the whole convo about me doing retreats. I think that is my pleasure now. That's my go-to, and that's what I love doing. And
well, I guess the retreats, it's almost encompassing everything you're mentioning, isn't it?
Exactly.
In one thing.
Well, we
Everything
actually do retreats, don't we? And that's why, one of the reasons why we do them. It's you give someone that experience of doing so many things at once that you don't necessarily would do on your own, and you do it in a group. You've got that community aspect, you've got the activity aspect, you can have the decent food, the meditation, all that bundled together. Every time we've done one, it's only been like a day retreat in the city. You just feel amazing after it. Just, as I say, with people doing it together, with the endorphins all at once, it's just, it's hard to describe it. And then at the end of it, sometimes we'll have a little beer, because it's a lifestyle. We're not trying to say, oh my God, you can't do that. Enjoy yourself. Make better choices as much as you can, as often as possible. But the more we can spread that message to everyone, it doesn't have to be complicated and counting everything and stressing about it and trying to look a certain way and, oh my God, I can't do this, blah, blah. It's just about you being you, but every day being a little bit better, trying a little bit harder, eating a little bit more, doing a little bit more than you can do to better yourself.
I think you've explained that brilliant as well, because that is the thing. It's everything's kind of calorie count, everything's you've got to do this, everything's you've got, rather than just treat it as a lifestyle.
Yeah.
As in, I'm just going to eat good food, and I'm just going to work out X amount a week, and I'm going to do yoga, and I'm going to meditate. It's everything seems to have fell into the you've got to do this, you've got to do that, and if you don't, then you're not.
Yeah, when I started PTing, this was 2016 now, I went to a studio and speak, and there was 9 other trainers in there. It was only quite small, and they were all tight tops, protein shake. They were all sound, great lads, a couple of girls as well. But I was like walking around like that, like looking more in the mirror than at the clients, and I'm like, and I nearly went down that slippery slope where I was. There was a picture, I've got my top like that, I'm in the mirror, and I looked at myself and went, "The fuck am I doing there?" So I kind of came away from that, and I went somewhere else, and I learned from there and stuff like that. And then I was realising that I'm not into all that. As in, I can't be arsed counting my food. I can't be arsed tracking. I just want to do stuff that makes me feel good. So I started training in different ways, and it went from going for the bodybuilding style to more like the functionality of it, and training to just get myself out of a burning fire, or pull my mate out of a burning fire, or being able to run away from something, or being able to live longer. If you look at it that way, it's like
to be like an optimal human being.
Yeah, it's just making myself healthier all the time, and then hopefully I can preach that to other people and say it doesn't have to be complicated. It's you make these little changes every single day that are going to lead to longer lasting results. Like if you do this short term fast fad, what happens at the end of it? Where's the kind of aftercare? And I'm not like dissing people and all that. Everyone does their own thing. Everyone's different. What works for other people is perfectly fine. Do what works for you. But to me, it's got to be a lifestyle. It's got to be an education 100%. That you learn in a way that you go, well, I've learned that this week, if I drink a little bit more water, I'm going to physically feel better. I'm not going to feel as tired. I'm not going to feel as lethargic. I'm going to feel a bit more energetic, blah, 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 blah. Oh, next week, if I learn to do, right, I need to get a bit more sleep, or I need to change my mindset a little bit, maybe do a bit better meditation. These little tiny changes will lead to those longer lasting results. And I've always went through the idea of preaching to people. I kind of got it when I went to Camp America. There was these 2 kids, and I walked in, they were brushing their teeth, and you'd think they were trying to fucking pull the teeth out, just like that, all over the place. They were only 6 and 7. I went, lads, come here, I'm English. So they looked at me like this fucking god going, what? Yeah. And I was going, right, do this, little circles, brush your tongue, dead simple stuff that you know when you learn. And to me, that was fantastic. bearing in mind, I weren't a personal trainer, nothing by then. I weren't a fucking dentist or anything. I was just like...
Apparently you knew how to brush teeth.
Yeah. And then that was fine. It was the next day I was walking in and them 2 kids were teaching 2 other kids what I taught them. So fucking simple. And I just went, boom, my heart just blew up and I was like, that's it. I want to be able to teach people from kids to fucking pensioners something so simple that they can teach other people.
Yeah.
And that's how...
What is the PT world like? Because it seems like there is a lot of PTs
like
about...
It's crazy. There's that end of the spectrum, there's that end of the spectrum.
It's bonkers, especially nuts. Because you see it all through lockdown. I mean, we seen it all through lockdown because people had to get out there. People had to sell themselves in terms of...
adapt to what was going on.
So they had to do Zooms and live feeds. And I almost felt like... to myself, I didn't do any lives until like this day, but so when it was coming up to it, I was like, right, shall I do a live, shall I not do a live, shall I give it to the followers because do I owe them something or not? Like, it was driving me insane. It was like, not anxiety, but I was like, what shall I do here? And then it was weird because I was actually going to do one the following week. It was like a Thursday, and that same day I got a phone call off this guy. He owns Escape Yoga, and he just rang me and said, Jack, I've heard great things, do you want to come and do some lives for me and I'll pay you? And I just went, wow, yeah, cool. So I was lucky. Every live I'd done, not only did it get recorded, but it was also I was getting paid. But then I felt like it doesn't matter if no people watch it, because I had a bit of a shitty time because I only had, I think I had 1:15 in the afternoon, and whether people are working or whatever, but I still had loads of people message me either saving it and saying that was great, that nice one. But what we found out, not me and Ethan, but what a lot of people found out in the PT world is there's a lot of shit out there.
And misinformation. And fucking too much information.
There's loads.
Too much.
The hardest thing is if someone says a word or a term that you don't know, but you hear it enough times, you start to think, I need to know about this, or these must be talking sense, i.e. a calorific deficit, which to the normal person goes, what's that? Which basically means your energy expenditure, you need to be eating less than what you're burning, which means you'll lose weight. Mathematically and scientifically, it works, right? But when they say you can't lose weight without being in a calorific deficit, it's like saying you can't win the lottery without putting a ticket on. It's so fucking obvious, because people don't know that, they buy into it. And because weight loss is such a massive term, the thing is, right, we're not here to diss other people. We know that there's so much shit going on. There's so many people of vast teachings that they do what they want to do, and they'll either get found out for being a fraud, they'll get found out because they're only driven by money, or people will go, actually, these are doing it for the right reasons. They want to help people, they want to make a difference, they want to educate people in a way that... With my studio, I say to my clients, listen, I want you to come into me and we'll do a 6-week course, and then after that, I want you to be able to go to another gym and do your own thing, because I've taught you in a way that you don't need me. I like them coming back, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic and it's a great testament to me, but I want to be able to keep teaching new people to say, you don't always need someone there babysitting you. If I can teach you in a way that you know the basics, then you can do that. Now, a lot of people might say, oh, you're going to need 12 months of this, which some people do, but it's how they kind of educate around it and what they teach them, what they tell them. And with me and Jack, it's always, I'm doing this because Jack taught me or Ethan taught me it does this, this and this, not because Jack or Ethan said so. And then it does no educate, you know what I mean? They don't know what it's about. We want to teach people in a way that this is why we're doing it.
And like I said at the start, though, why I am a big fan of what you're doing is because you've been doing it for a while and you've been preaching this stuff for a while. And what's pissed me off a little bit, and again, I'm not here to diss anyone, but
let's put people out here.
I've done
name some names.
Let's get PT beef going.
I've just seen
Joe Wicks.
I've done a few.
I like Joe.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
But
I've
done a few Insta stories though on the kind of I'm trying to explain it properly. I'm not saying I'm the best motivational speaker in the world. I'm not saying I'm an expert in resilience or in mindset or positivity. But what I can tell you is what I've been through. I've been through a lot of shit. I've achieved some things, and I know the rights and wrongs, and I feel like I'm a good person who can give advice on and stuff. I've seen during lockdown so many like resilience coaches and mentors and things, and I'm like, what the? And I'm not saying you'd have to have been through anything, by the way, to be a coach. You don't have to. But it's like saying Jurgen Klopp. He's never played good football, but he's an amazing manager. Yeah. So I get you don't have to go through it, but you see people who have been on like a 6 weeks, not even because there's not even a course. And I mean, like they've watched a few videos and they're like, right, I know what you've got to do. You got to get up now at 5 a.m. And I think Mark Scanlon was a great example. He's been talking about doing this for like 7-8 years. Yeah. And he's now kind of going, look, this is what's worked for me 7-8 years ago, and it's bringing us to the forefront. I've seen for every one Mark Scanlon kind of genuine, successful person, there's fucking 10 out there who've been living this way for 2 months and are now telling other people
the thing
how
is,
to do it.
There always will be one.
And it's like, hang on. And I'm not like, that's not me being bitter or jealous saying it should be me. I'm just thinking, because people buy into it, and if it's a celebrity or someone who's well known or something, it's like, oh wow.
Well, do you remember that? Well, you know, we will remember that Charlotte Crosby on Geordie Shore. She brought out a fucking workout DVD.
Oh yeah.
She used to piss herself on telly and all that. And I'm like, but people bought it. She made a fortune off it.
Is it a number one seller awareness? Something like that.
Winds me up shit like that.
Unbelievable. And the thing is, I used to kind of let that affect me, and I was like, you can't, because it's so hard to kind of change the mass. You've got to do what you're doing and keep doing it, and then it will grow and grow and grow organically. Like, some people might get on telly for all the wrong reasons, and then because they've got an audience, they go, right, what can I do with this? How can I capitulate on it? But I think with us, we just like to be, we're just two genuine brothers.
It's authentic, isn't it?
Yeah, we just want to do it for the right reasons. And with Liverpool Health and Wellbeing, it's about other people doing that as well. Now, don't get me wrong, we're not going to say to some people, well, some we might, but listen, you're not allowed to be part of our gang because you have chicken. I understand that, and we can't kick everyone out, and we can't like push people to the side, but there is some people that genuinely do deserve to be pushed out there and say, listen, these are doing an amazing job, and they are doing it for all the right reasons. Now, just because some people don't necessarily follow the exact lifestyle that we do, it doesn't mean that they're wrong.
It doesn't have to be, does it, the exact same?
It'd be hard to do our lifestyle. Like,
we tried it with food, didn't we? We said, right, let's get loads of foodies in the city. And there was only like a handful of really healthy food. Some were claiming to be healthy, but they weren't that healthy.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
when you say no one could replicate our lifestyle, what, as in like,
because we live and thrive off, as I say, I keep saying it, health and well-being. So everything we do, everything we eat.
You guys are vegan?
Well, we're not. We're plant-based eaters. So vegan.
Is that not vegan?
No. So there's a couple. There's literally 3 plant-based lifestyles. So there's vegan, there's plant-based, and there's whole food plant-based. So the healthiest option is whole food plant-based. So that is literally fruits, vegetables, whole food. So a whole food is one single ingredient.
Avocado.
Yeah, one single ingredient.
Grows from the ground, falls from a tree. It's natural, it's healthy. It's
no animals whatsoever. Yeah, like nothing.
A vegan though.
But then they have. So the whole food plant-based is everything whole food, plant-based, no nuts, animals, seeds, but they avoid cooking in like oils and stuff. So our diet is probably 60% that. Now, when you go out to something to eat, you can't guarantee that they don't cook in oils and stuff. So it's hard to say I'm 100% whole food plant-based, but predominantly that's what we do, because when we cook our own food, that's how we cook it. Then there's plant-based, which is that little bit extra where they do cook in oils and
because it's a plant-based, you know what I mean? It's still from a plant.
Still very, very healthy. And then the vegan thing is more of an ethical reason. So if you're vegan, you're thinking more towards the ethical side of it, the animals, the planet, and then obviously the health as well. But obviously in the past we've bought leather shoes, leather jackets, whatever, and I'm not going to not wear them because I'm now vegan. So nothing against vegans at all, but what they
There's a lot of things attached to being a vegan, which we find.
There's loads of processed food still in there, which we really avoid.
We had it was a big education for us, wasn't it? We had Lisa Gawthorne on.
I remember, I watched it. Yeah, it was good.
That was fascinating to know again some of the different reasons why people choose to be vegan or not. And I've got a good friend of mine, Nikki. She's a vegan, and she's telling me like that you can buy. There's like cleaning products you can get that are vegan friendly and stuff.
We get stuff like that, and it's when you think about it, the stuff that you can buy, it says don't get it on your hands, and you go, what the fuck's that? If it's gonna burn me skin, don't let the kids touch it. And you're like,
you're like, it says surface cleaner. Why can't I put my hands on it? And you're like, but
in terms of vegan as well, though, vegan doesn't necessarily mean healthy,
because
you can get it to be still deep fried in an oil, which is vegan. It can be like substitutes, or there's some like man-made vegan stuff that's like processed in a way that it isn't healthy. Don't get me wrong, I like a burger. Like, what is it now? I had one last night. I had a nice burger from Honest Burger on Bold Street, which is that Beyond Meat. Have you had one?
No.
So Beyond Meat is an American company which has been invested by, like,
I think it's the number one selling.
Yeah, like Mark Zuckerberg.
No shit, really.
Loads of people invested into it. It's the closest to tasting, looking, and feeling like beef. I don't miss beef at all.
Is it Beyond Burgers or Beyond Meat?
Beyond Meat, that's it, yeah. Look at that. Look who it's by, Ethan Brown.
Jesus Christ, it's a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive.
Oh, you don't realise, if you've never heard of them, then you don't realise what's
33 million in 2019.
So even dairy farmers in the US now are buying and investing into plant milk.
Yeah,
what are they doing to make it?
Bill Gates, Rich Shaw's.
So
there's loads of people who've like invested into it. Basically, it's...
You know one thing though, before you explain to me about this?
Yeah.
Without being negative, you know what pissed me off? Did you watch that programme? It was what Lisa was talking about.
Yeah,
Game Changers.
Game Changers,
yeah. So I watched that, was completely sucked into it.
Yeah.
And then it come out that the guy who made it is massive investor into like vegan protein or something.
Yeah, he probably
so
is.
So it was like it was an agenda to it.
So
I'm always a bit skeptical.
James Cameron, who produced it, directed it, obviously he's massive time anyway. He's invested into plant-based meat and stuff like that.
People who like debunk stuff like that, it's because they always try and pick something out of it, even though
that was debunked that like big time with Joe Rogan. So the doctor went on there, debunked it.
I watched it, yeah.
And did you watch the one after that?
They had them both on, didn't they? I think at the same time.
Joe Rogan said, "Well, I'm going to have to take that other one off now because he's just come on." And you know how he's like, he's just dead cool, calm, collective. And everything he had to say, he showed it like fact-based evidence. Don't get me wrong, there's some things on there that are like, oh, come on.
He does the battle ropes for an hour. I was like...
Which is brilliant.
I didn't really believe that's a bit mad, that.
No, I believe he'd done that, but would a plant-based diet make you do that? I think he probably would have done that anyway without doing a plant-based diet, because he's fit as anything and he's...
Yeah, it was a machine, wasn't it?
Exactly. So it was one of them. Would it make you go that extra mile?
I think one thing it should really do is make people just question.
Yeah, big time.
It was a relatable documentary.
It's about being more conscious, isn't it? Really about, all right, why am I eating it? Okay, where's it come from? And what's it to me and to Jack as well? It's most of the time we look at food and we say, what's it going to do for us?
Where's the benefits?
Where's the benefits? And if it's having a beer, the benefit isn't really there. It's just like the satisfaction. So then if it's having a beer every night, it's like,
the excuse for beer to me is social aspect. I will not have a beer if I'm just sitting on my own. The only time I'll have a beer is when I'm out with the lads or
it's like
celebrating.
Yeah.
And that to me is
so
like...
You rarely drink then?
Rarely drink. I do drink, and don't get me wrong, we went on holiday last week. I had a drink, a good few drinks there, but to me it's...
I worked it out that I had a drink every day for 23 days. Because I got engaged when we were away.
I'm trying to promote health and happiness.
Sorry, but it just...
So you know, as you love a beer a bit more than...
Yeah, Jack. I mean, I'd say I'm a little bit more lenient towards... Like I went away, I haven't had anything else other than plants for a good 12 months. We went to Ibiza, and I said to me now fiance...
yeah, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Sophie will be saying finally, but...
I know, there's 15 years, like fucking hell. So I said to her, I just feel like some fish, because we're on a little island. I know it's going to be freshly caught. And the way I kind of look at it is, if you had a pig, I do it for ethical reasons, but at the same time, I mainly do it for health. But if you had a pig, a cow, a chicken from birth, you could hug it and watch it grow up. You couldn't fucking hug a fish, could you? Because it'd just be a bit all over the place. So that's the way, morally, I was going, it's not that bad. It's probably caught by some guy fishing that day. Had some sea bass.
He's probably went, quick, come here.
Out the fish farm, out the fish farm.
I know. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I don't miss it. I won't go back and have it, especially not from Aldi when it's wrapped in plastic and you don't really know where it came from. So that's kind of where I'm a little bit more lenient, but the way I look at it is, it's a lifestyle. One thing I won't have is dairy, because it just ruins me inside. I won't have chicken.
Really, you won't have chicken now?
No. If I was going to have any meat, I'd have beef. Just because chicken's got worse negative effects to you than beef has. I've seen a study and it said...
I'd even argue with that now. The studies that we read, it's not...
That's what I mean about that debunking, because look, you've just said that then, I would have thought...
fish is okay.
Well, I've seen that chicken is one of the leading... Well, poultry, which is chicken and turkey, is one of the leading causes of dementia.
Well, if you look at the UK top killers now, Alzheimer's and dementia has overtook heart disease for women, which is crazy. It's has heart disease gone down or has Alzheimer's gone up?
Yeah.
And 14 out of the 15 top killers in the UK are dietary related.
Lifestyle related, isn't it?
And if you look at that...
That's mad, that, isn't it?
So the only one is accidents. And you're 14, even when it comes to suicide, if you're eating garbage every day...
You feel like shit.
You feel like shit, full stop. But touching on the heart disease and the Alzheimer's, India, the lowest cases of dementia in the world. And you wonder why, and you're so looking at the studies, what do they eat? And you look how much turmeric they consume every day. Indians love curry. It's in there. They have it for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Turmeric is a superfood.
It's one of the best.
It's not just to make a curry.
Really, yeah.
Anti-inflammatory.
Well, they have a lot of chicken.
No, they don't actually.
Oh, do they not?
Meat is like a luxury over there.
Ah, right.
Yeah, although you see cows walking around the street, a lot of the food they eat
the cows don't even look like our cows, to be fair. They just look like...
They're just mainly used for transport, aren't they? But it's... I was reading up on it because I've never really fancied India because it just looks dead scruffy, doesn't it? But I was speaking to a few people who've been and just said it's amazing, and the smell constantly, all the spices, all just there.
What, I want to sound dead stupid now, but I don't care. What is turmeric?
Turmeric is
spice.
It's a spice.
Yeah.
Spice. It's yellow. You'll know it, but every time you have a curry, high chance it's got turmeric in it, because it's like that curry powder.
Especially if it's made from scratch.
We have it of a morning. Most morning,
really, yeah.
Unless I have my oats.
If you've got if you do a workout, you're gonna be inflamed. One of the best things for inflammation, not ibuprofen, which is this fucking chemical that you don't really know what's in. It's like turmeric. It's loaded with anti-inflammatories. So is ginger. Because we're not taught this, you just look what's on the telly or what you're taught in a paper or what, do you know what I mean? So that's where we looked into, let's look into the education side of it and why we're doing these things, and can we make our breakfast, or can we make this meal a bit better? Oh yeah, let's put some flax seeds on it because it's loaded with goodness.
4 years ago, it changed. I knew personally how I was going to eat within the next 2 or 3 years, because I was reading books and they were different authors but all saying the same thing. Don't get me wrong, they're trying to sell whatever the next book is or whatever the website's selling, but they're actually coming up with fact-based evidence, and that's the only way I would accept reading a book, if it had evidence-based and it's backed by science. And I don't know how deep Dean got last night into facts itself, but there's facts pages on the internet that are complete fraud. And the documentary that he probably would have mentioned, it shows you they're owned by the likes of social media, Wikipedia, and
it's so, you've got to be so careful on the
it's
a stupid example which I absolutely love. It's one of my favourite memes ever. I like having a little bet on the footy, and there's it's just how fucked up social media can be. It's quite funny. There's a picture of Gandhi of like, you know, one of his quotes, one of these memes, and it says never back the early kickoff. But like, it's like you look on it, it's like as if a quote that Gandhi had said.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
People have just made it.
Never back the early kickoff. I think it's brilliant, and it's just a funny example of how, you know, you can get a quote of fucking Martin Luther King and say, "Hey, fucking Scousers are sound."
It's crazy.
He never said that, but it's put out in a certain way, and you see how good like Photoshop is now, and people can buy website names and it can make up names where it's from, and just outright lie and say, fucking, you know, Danish health studies said that fucking eating this, and suddenly you go, hey, fucking.
I mean, but also you think like the internet is so open, and it's so like the information's so like readily available, but then you don't actually know who's putting the information there or who's allowing it to be there. When
I was been reading the books and stuff, one of the main questions is follow the money. So what did they do with the money, or who's funded this book or whatever? Don't get me wrong, you've got the case studies there and they're all referenced. Every single fact that they put in there, they're all referenced, which is a great thing. Because even touching on that, to read a study, it's not easy. Like doctors do it all the time, but I can read a study and be like 5 minutes in going, I need to shut this because I don't understand it. It's the actual literature to a study is what doctors use. We don't, like average Joes don't do it, but the doctors have now broke it down to layman's terms for me, and then I break it down to layman's terms for people that are listening to me. So I only go off fact-based evidence, so I can literally back it up. I'm not a doctor. You don't have to listen to me, but I'm here to help. I'm not here to take money off you. And as I said, going back to Follow the Money, is one of the books that I've read is the money he gets off his book. He pays his staff to go and research the studies, so he can go through hundreds of studies a day, depending what's out there or whatever. And
he's not in it for the money, basically.
Who is this? Sorry.
So there's a guy called Dr. Michael Greger. He's obviously plant-based and stuff, and he's a doctor. He looks a bit of a nerd, but he is a nerd.
How not to die.
You know what I think though is, and I know this is part of, but it's for someone like me. I think it's just difficult. It's just
it is, and it took us. Don't get me wrong. I'm disciplined. If I want to do something, I'll just do it. I'm dead stubborn. So 4 years ago, when we decided to do it, so it's been 3.5 years, but I was reading these studies and I was like.
So he does this website for free. He makes no money.
Nutritionfacts.org for people listening.
Yeah, he doesn't allow any advertising. That's him. He's got the funniest voice ever when you listen to him.
To listen to him, you switch off.
I like listening to him, to be fair.
No, I do. He's like, he's a bit whiny, but he's
just
hilarious.
Full of all he does is read studies, and he backs everything up with evidence in terms of it's all based there for you, and it's free, and there's so much information. It makes me question though, why isn't this on the news? Why isn't this readily
Well, that's why
available?
I was keen to speak to you guys, because with this Liverpool Health and Wellbeing, it's like almost like a mini kind of somewhere you can go and go, actually, these lads are living quite a good, healthy lifestyle.
Yeah,
you know, how can I pick a little bit about that? And like I say, I'm sure you're aware, you're not going to get people who want to live the exact same life as you guys.
Yeah.
But if you can just say, look, this is the kind of, like the manual, if you like, of what ideally, because again, I always think back to when I was in the Marines and going through that training and being around like-minded people and seeing, you know, fit, strong, healthy people. Even though I'm out the Marines now, I've still kind of got that now in my DNA where I've always kept fit since. Yeah. So it's like, if you can get that knowledge and be around that for a while, it's like habits stick, don't they?
That's
so if people are kind of listening,
you become who you surround yourself by.
Yeah. So if people are coming to you for info and they're kind of learning about health and well-being in Liverpool, whether that's the food that you're eating, the activities you're doing, the little hints and advice, if you're doing that for long enough, then hopefully it will sustain. And like you say, now
back to the lifestyle.
I've been out the Marines since 2012, and all those things I learned and the practices they're still within me now. So it's about getting that knowledge, isn't it? And
that's it. I mean, one of the things I always say to people, especially, it could be relatable, because before I was into this, I was a joiner for 10 years and I hated it. At first it was a laugh because I was young, naive, no responsibilities, and as I started turning like 2021 and I was self-employed, I had to go out and get it. I had to go on sites, and I was still young, but I was fed up. I always said, I had on my WhatsApp back in the day when WhatsApp just come out, and it just said, in the worst spelling, gonna change the world. And I only changed it last year because my phone ballooned up or something, so I recently changed it. But I always said to people joking around, I'm gonna change the world. Now, big statement, bold statement, dream big, yada yada yada, but I weren't gonna do it being a joiner, and I didn't want to do it. I was in Australia for 2 years, but when I went there, I thought beach lifestyle, it's gonna be great. I'm just gonna live the dream. I'm gonna find a new job because people are gonna come to me because I'm so cool. And it was the opposite. I landed, I done my travelling, I learned a lot of things. I was, in terms of living in hostels, which were absolute shitholes, like sharing pans, and I learned one thing about me before even this whole lockdown thing, how clean I actually was. It was scruffs, living with scruffs. People that snored, didn't like them, and there was loads of little things that I'd write down, and I'd go, I'd happily never hear or see any of this ever again. But I was hygienic, I always wanted to be healthy, and I loved training, and that was the thing. And then, as I say, spent me 2 years there, come back, and I got offered a job there, like a really well paid job, just being a manager of a construction company, so I wouldn't be on the tools. And my dad, because he was an ex-joiner, he was like made up, and it was good because it was in the heart of Sydney, and I'd probably have that lifestyle. But when I come back and I spoke to Ethan, the rest of my mates that are in fitness, and a few of the girls, they just said, Jack, you've been in the gym longer than all of us, like, why aren't you doing something in the gym? And then it just clicked then, and I buried myself for 7 months learning nutrition, why we train properly, because I've always trained, I've always left as so-called healthy as I could, but I was like, no, I need to go beyond that. I need to know why we move, how we move, why we eat. And then every time I was reading something about nutrition, I was like, this needs to I need to change. So little by little, I was like sort of like dropping things, but then it was 3.5 years ago, and it come to Lent before Easter, 40 days, 40 nights, and I said to Ethan, what do you reckon we give it a go, and just giving up all meat products, not eggs, just meat. And he was like, yeah, cool, 40 days, 40 nights, let's do it. And it come to Easter, and I was just like, I'm never going back. And
once you realise that you don't miss it, or you don't need it first, you go, well, I haven't missed it.
But did you feel a lot better?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I was in the gym, and some girl pulled me over and was like, how do you feel? I said, it's week 2. Ask me in 6 weeks' time. Never seen it again, really. But it's weird because people will go, it's hard to remember. It was 3.5 years ago. But what I can tell you is, I am lighter, but I feel lighter. I feel physically lighter. I don't get the food comas I used to. I don't sit there. Like, one of our favourite restaurants is, and our good friend owns it anyway, so I'd never say worst restaurant ever, because it used to be delicious, Ben Brazil, and we used to go there.
It's just a meat feast.
The only thing we used to get was drinking meat. We never used to even go to the salads bar, never, nothing like that, just meat. Hurry up. You used to have it on green all day, and used to sit there at the end going.
And then we thought, just sitting there at the end in agony, we thought, just because we've had loads and, protein and that.
Yeah.
And it was come to realise, especially off this book, the amount of inflammation that's causing through your digestive tract, and your body physically can't digest it.
Your
especially
arteries
that much.
Must have just been like...
And we're like that going it's sound, and the next day you'd struggle to fucking go to the toilet because you've got no fibre in your diet. But we didn't know this. We just thought, alpha male, dead strong, yeah. And it just was like the wrong thing to do.
Do you guys fast? Intermittent fasting?
Not so much intermittent fasting. Some days I might fast without going, right. That's why I won't say I'm a vegan, or I won't go, I'm intermittent fasting. Some days I might go, right, you know what, I'm not hungry. I had a bit of a big dinner. I'm going to just kind of go as long as I need to. Because I used to get up. I'd have a class at 6 and a break, 6:45 till 7 till my next one. And I'd ram food down my throat. I was like, what am I doing? I'm just not hungry. But then I'd eat again, because I would be hungry about a couple of hours later, every 3 hours. You don't need that.
You can fast for 15 hours without knowing it.
There's
no...
Sometimes I'll do a 24-hour water fast, just to kind of give my body like a reset and Let
24 hours without water?
No, with just with water.
Just water. Yeah, I was going to say fucking...
Just water.
Just water, yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And that's just
That's
because
rare though, isn't it?
when you're asleep and like you're in your deepest sleep, they say about 2-3 o'clock, but it doesn't depend on the time. It just depends on your body. When you're fully deep sleep, your body's in a full cleanse. That's why you wake up with like bad breath and you've got like yellow piss and stuff like that, because your body's cleansing all that shit out. That's why they say have lemon water in the morning, because it helps get rid of the toxins in your throat. Otherwise, it just goes right back down into your liver. So then, if you keep that, like carrying that on, your body keeps like cleansing and working on it and just getting rid of the shit out your body. And sometimes at first it can be a little bit, oh, I've got no energy. But then I do actually want to push it. I was watching something today. Have you heard of Yes Theory?
Yeah,
Yeah, so Yes Theory's trying to say yes to everything. But anyway, he was doing this 5-day water fast. And they say once you get to day 4, you start to feel like, I feel amazing. Apparently you can go, I think it's 3 weeks without food.
Really?
3 days without water, 3 hours without oxygen. That's kind of how it works. So 3 weeks you can go without food, because you've
3
got...
hours without oxygen?
Yeah, that's what your body can physically do, depending on where you're up to. If you're like old and battered, probably not. But your body, if it hits 3 hours, you're fucked.
I don't get what you mean without breathing.
No, not like holding your breath. Like if you die, that's like the limit you've got. Is 3 hours.
Did you watch the David Blaine with Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
He said the same thing.
Bob, yeah.
It was a
when
guy
he blacks out type thing. Yeah.
Wim Hof's just changed science, hasn't he? Obviously, did you know about him?
Yeah.
So he's completely changed science and down to his breathing techniques. But there's other practitioners who are as good at do different type of breathing. And yeah, the oxygen thing, obviously it's important, but
the thing is, the body's amazing, and we don't tap into hardly.
We don't know any of it, do we?
No, we don't. We don't do enough. We don't do enough experiments, and people might be doing it.
It's the same about your brain. Like they reckon we only use
4% or something.
4%, is it?
Well, they say you use a lot of it, but it's only so much at a time. So you don't use it all at once, otherwise you'd fucking blow up. But think of it: when you were a kid, right? You'd cut your arm, and then you'd put a plaster on, and then you'd take the plaster off and go, "Whoa, it's stopped. It's healed." That's your body just doing that. So then when you think about that, how fucking clever your body is.
It is mad, isn't it?
But people just take the piss and just put shit inside. Like we always say, when we go into the schools with the kids, we go, right, just bought you all a brand new Ferrari. And some of them just go, what colour is it? How fast can I go? And you're just like, no, you just got a Ferrari, whatever colour you want, however fast you want, I'll give you one, right? Would you put Coke in the engine? And they all go, no. Why? Because it wouldn't work. Okay, so your body will outlive a Ferrari. It's more valuable than a Ferrari, blah, blah, blah. Why are you putting Coke in your body? And you go, because it's nice and stuff like that. But eventually, a Ferrari will shut down straight away. Eventually, your body will start to shut down.
Yeah.
But it's teaching people that, listen, your body, it's a machine. But it could be like optimal. You see people who are running, like Usain Bolt, all right, he's gifted, but he works on that constantly. Messi, Ronaldo, people who are the top of their game, they work on making their body the best that they can. And so many people just don't have that belief in themselves that they can do more.
It genuinely is one of the things that makes me so sad. You know, given the kind of friendships I've got through the military, and I've seen lads with amazing physiques do amazing challenges, go all around the world and do some crazy adventures, it makes me sad when I see big fat people who just have not taken care of themselves. And I don't mean fat because they've got something wrong. I mean genuine, don't like working out, lazy, don't like exercising, lazy, obese, and they're happy about it. They're like, well, that's genuinely one of the saddest things.
It's like a waste of a body.
Yeah, it's a waste of a life, because you know you see people who maybe, you know, you might see it. I'm not saying it's their fault, but you might see like a child who's paralysed, and you think all they probably want to do is run around, and you've got this body that you've just abused,
fucked up,
and it's fucking.
Like, we're not saying we want everyone to be ripped, perfect ass, and all that. It's just
our bodies are simply the best biological machine ever put on the earth, ever. We're clever, we're intelligent, we recover fast. Socially, it's beyond any mammal that's ever been on the earth.
We've got the brain to be able to think of stuff to go, I'm going to land on the moon, whether you believe that or not, or I'm going to build this, and we do it. because we've got that capability, or I'm going to lift this weight, I'm going to do that, and it's having that belief. But what was my fucking point then? I was going to say something Boston.
Write it down.
It's that thing though, isn't it, where we've got so much potential, and then if you're just gonna put shite in it, then what's the point?
Yeah. And then it's right in front of our face. If you want to go and learn why you're getting diabetes, or you've got asthma, or cancers in your family, or heart diseases in your family, then most of these things can be genetic. But one of the doctors I read, one of the best sayings he said was like, genetics loads the gun, but lifestyle fires the trigger. And it's as simple as that. So if you've got that in your family and you're listening right now, then you need to start learning right now, today, of what you can do to prevent that from happening, because you don't want to reverse it, because it's not too late. But look at Steve Jobs, like, changed the world, absolutely amazing. Lying on his deathbed said, food is your medicine. And he's not a doctor.
Is that what he said?
That's it.
He went vegan for like his last... He went to like all these nutritionists and everyone, like all the education, and he said, what can I do to live longer rather than the chemo, blah, blah. And he said, you need to go on a plant-based diet. So he did, and it was just like a little too late that he couldn't beat it. But he said, I've got all the money in the world. And
yeah, that was it, yeah.
Everything that I need.
Family, friends.
I can buy anything I want, I just can't buy my health.
Yeah, exactly. And it's madness, because looking back in the construction days, there was things that you see now and they tell you it's a carcinogenic. So obviously you've got a few properties. If you walked into an old house and you were going to do it up, but you're seeing an old ceiling and it's asbestos, you're like, fuck, I want to get out of here. Every construction site that I ever went on to, like old, if asbestos was a question, it'd be like, do not enter that room. It needs to go and get tested. A guy would come out in his full suit. He'd take a little whatever, like a tube, take it, get tested. Because if you're inhaling that, there's no way back at all. Like food, nothing. There's no medicine, no cure. Asbestosis is the worst thing. And every time you go onto a new site, they probably make you watch a video, and there's people with like asbestosis, and you're like, oh my God, I never want to end up like that. So it scares you that much, you don't want to touch it. There's a material called MDF, and it's just timber, but it's actually banned in some places in America because, again, it's been proven to be a carcinogenic. And then the other one is...
Do you know what a carcinogenic is, by the way?
No.
So it's got the potential to turn into cancerous cells when it comes into your body.
So they basically ban that. And then the other one is smoke, like smoking. So they ban that because of... Obviously, it's been proven that it gives you lung cancer. But then one of the main reasons why they banned it in public was because it's passive smoking. So the MDF, when you're sawing it, that's passive. The smoking, when you're smoking it, that's passive. And if you drill into asbestosis...
As in, it's not your choice, but you could inhale it without it being
So they're
your
banning these
choice.
things because it's proven to give you cancer. And then you look at processed meats, and the likes of your bacon, your salami, and pepperoni, stuff like that.
Hot dogs. Just shite.
And it's been proven it's a carcinogenic.
It's on the same level.
So why are we selling it? Why?
These foods are on the same thing?
The same level as plutonium, which you wouldn't fucking drink plutonium, would you? But it's on the same level. These like processed meats have been proven to be on this level.
So if you
Mate, can I just say, just while we're on this page as well, and anyone on YouTube, that the leading killer of Americans in the year 2000 was tobacco, followed by diet and inactivity. The third was alcohol. Like the year 2000 is only 20 years ago, and yet people still fucking smoke.
It's crazy.
Fucking stupid.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's changed now, which is good.
It's insane.
Well, obviously, right now it's diet alone, but
followed by diet and inactivity is just, it's insane, that, isn't it? When you think about it, it's based on your choices. So you get
all
up
you have
every
to do
morning
is eat the right things and move about.
You get up every morning and you have a choice. You can eat your fucking shitty cereal or your processed meat or whatever, or you can eat something a little bit better, like a nice bit of oats, some fresh fruit, something that's going to give you life rather than something that's dead or
I think
processed.
it's because it's something that, you know, if I said to you now, right, if you eat that bowl of that bacon butty, you're going to die by lunchtime, you wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
But it just seems like this far thing, doesn't it?
It takes decades and decades.
It's like going back to the
some
Coke
people
in the
might
car.
have good enough genes to beat it off, but to me, you can't take that chance because our two granddads died of like basically heart failure, so heart disease,
and they were only young, weren't they?
Yeah.
not that old, but they didn't know then. They were just going butter on.
But
like,
my nan
toast,
smoked all her
bacon.
life, and she's fine.
Do you know what's weird as well? On this point, China, there's like this sort of like weird dimension. Chinese people always tend to look ahead because they're very good at saving, but Chinese people fucking smoke so much, which is really weird because you'd think it would be the opposite way. Like they're always taught in China to save for a rainy day. Like their saving rate versus Europe is incredible.
Really?
Yeah, it's huge. It's crazy. Yeah. So
Why do you know that random fucking stat?
But yet so many people smoke, and so they're always taught to look ahead. But yeah, people fucking
And they
smoke.
probably eat shit as well.
Yeah. And also, all of those three things.
They batter here.
Yeah, well, yeah, fucking hell, yeah. In the wet market.
Yeah.
Those three things: tobacco, diet, inactivity, and alcohol. I suppose really all three of them are like comfort things, aren't they? Really?
Yeah.
Like they're all comfort things.
And it's just in the.
It's all a choice as well. It's not like it's
If
forced
you
upon you.
if you look at some of the top companies that sell processed shite, they're all linked. They all own each other, or they own something else that is bad for you. And it's just like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, come on, like grow up. And that's why when I said before is a lot of the dairy industry now is buying out or investing in plant-based milk because they know it's going to go up there because people are making a stand for global warming, and global warming right now is not at a good stage. It's at a bit of a catastrophe in terms of, like, some people are saying we've got 12 years to like book our ideas up, like simple as, but down to the emissions of animals, what they're doing to the actual planet, it's got to go one way because it's now proven that all the emissions from the animals, whether it's livestock for dairy or livestock for beef, chicken, whatever, it's creating a mess up there. So they're now thinking, yeah, they might be right, but not just that. Dairy is not good for you. Like, blatantly, full stop, proven fact-based evidence, it's not good for
What's
you.
mad is, like, since having our own businesses, like, I know it's like a driving force, but the amount of like massive corporations that are solely driven on money, they're not asked about what they produce. They just know that if it's a shiny box of cereal, that we've got this thing in our eyes. I always forget what it's called, but basically we're attracted to colour. So back to when we were hunter-gatherers, you see a piece of fruit, and fruit was it was kind of like a luxury because it would be high up in the trees, it'd be quite dangerous, whatever, and it'd be amazing, super sweet. But now we don't really find fruit that sweet because the cereals are sweeter because they've got more false shit in. But these companies are literally just putting out products which is costing them next to nothing to me, and they're just full of shit. And all they're asked about is the money that they're making, the profit margin. And then you can then link it into like big pharma who are physically making people sick because being sick is a business as well, because they make so much money off all these pharmaceutical drugs. And if they told everyone, right, go and eat broccoli, there's no fucking money in broccoli. It's just, it grows from the ground. By the way, have you ever touched on asparagus before? Have you ever seen how asparagus grow? You just like one individual asparagus just grows off the ground like that. I thought it was like a tree with loads of them coming off. It's just like one of them. Just thought I'd tell you that.
Is it really? Yeah.
But I guess all like that vast info you've got on food, it is linked into then the wellness, isn't it? How you're feeling. You know, if you're pumping yourself with shite,
you know what you eat. Dead simple.
Yeah.
If you eat shit, you feel like shit.
But and then it's then affecting though your activity. You know, you might not want to go for the gym or a run, and then it's like you might not want to socialise. You might not want to try new things. You might not want to. Yeah. So it.
I mean, to say to someone, listen, give yourself 6 weeks of just being a little bit more disciplined in your lifestyle. So everything from food to self-love, self-care, and then just let it see how it plays out, because in 5 days you can change your taste buds. So if you just basically got rid of refined sugar for 5 days and then just went to like fruits and veg, in 5 days when you went back to your Mars bar, something would change. But 5 days is fuck all. Why don't you just try 2 weeks? Because if I had a Mars bar now, or it's a bit of a shit example, but say if I went to Starbucks and got a whatever they're called, a frappuccino, I would go, that is vile, because my taste buds don't like refined sugar anymore. I know it's in a lot of things, but I can taste it. Like, I wish I could borrow my tongue to someone and just say, now go and fucking try that, because what you're tasting is disgusting. And that's my opinion. That's not science.
How are you then, as a kind of business for Liverpool Health and Wellbeing, how are you kind of then facilitating people who want to get involved? Because you're not gonna preach to everyone to go as strict as you guys.
Yeah, we can't, and that's what we've got to adapt to our audience. And when we started the festivals, like touching back on Training to Educate, it was like, right, we can't get into the parents, so how can we do it?
Because what was the festival you've done at the Baltic, was it? What was that one called?
So we rebranded that, and it's called Eudaimonia, which is Greek origin for health and happiness. So it was perfect suit for us. But how it all started...
Basically, because it was called Liverpool Health and Wellbeing Festival, it was such a mouthful. But as we were going back, we started because we wanted to get the parents and the kids involved. What can we do? Let's kind of branch it out that way, and if we organise an event where we can invite the parents and the kids and they can try things in terms of activities, in terms of food, in terms of learning new stuff, and we thought, right, we can harness that in. And at the same time, I was part of the Liverpool Food and Drink Festival. Do you remember in Sefton Park?
Mm-hmm.
I was the fitness guy. Come along, we've got a wellbeing section. There was 10 tents set up. Like, there was loads in the festival, but there was these 10 tents, and I was like the third one in. There was like vegan meal prep, there was like a little cafe, there was all like vegan kind of products. Some weren't super healthy, but some were like consciously making a better choice. But then directly opposite us was the Liverpool gin tent, which had a fucking DJ on all day. Everyone was getting bladdered, and we were just like, this is great. Next to that was a Yorkshire pudding wrap with a roast dinner inside it, wrap it up, all that.
That does sound nice, yeah.
But you know what? I had one at the end of the night. I had at the end of the night, minus like the meat, and it was fucking lovely, I'm not going to lie. But it hardly screamed wellbeing section. It was more like a wellbeing strip. Anyway, I kind of had like a bit of a falling out with them, and they robbed all my money. They ended up going bust. Great, fuck them, right? But at the time of it happening, we were like, I was like pissed off, and we were talking about the Training to Educate, and we were like, let's fucking do it ourselves. That's kind of where it started.
Create a festival just for health and well-being.
Because we had like a good little network of yogis and food that we knew, and we thought we can branch this out. So we reached out to them. Do you know anyone else that you think will be part of it? And it started out, what did we have, 20 odd vendors?
Yeah, probably about 25 max, and we found a venue. And what we said to people, like all the businesses, we want to make Liverpool potentially the healthiest city in the UK.
Which
it's a massive goal.
Fucking miles away, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we knew all the stats because of Training to Educate and going into the schools, and then most of them just went, I'm on board. And so that was in the summer, and we didn't really go back to it. We were just working on in the background, but during this time we were setting loads of meetings up with different companies to see what their company does and how they're promoting health, happiness, whatever. And then it come to December, so it flew by, and the actual festival was in January, and then we got texts and emails off the vendors saying, is this really happening? It's Christmas. And we basically went, yeah, trust us. So we left it for the whole Christmas, New Year, and then the festival was on the 19th of January. So we literally had 18 days, because of minus the New Year's Day, to get this festival sorted. And the venue would only fit 200 people in, like not including the vendors. And we were like, well, what are we going to do? And even ticket sales went offline 2 days before or something, and we couldn't get them back on. But 150 people turned up, and we were floating, and we were like, this is amazing. People were going, this is brilliant. And we only knew 10% of the customers that
we thought it'd be all our family and friends, and it was amazing, the turnout. And basically how we wanted it to be was we'd have one main room, kind of like most festivals, with loads of different vendors selling products, services, having a chat, getting the vibe, that kind of thing. Another room with activities on, fitness classes, yoga, workshops that people can get involved in. And then another room with talks, or like meditation stuff where you can just sit down, get stuck in, learn something, or come out of it feeling something that you've took something on. And it was phenomenal. It was amazing. And it just kind of built from there that, yet there's amazing people in the city, yet we want to help build them up. But also, the city was missing a couple of things that we were hoping people would come to the festival and go, I'm inspired to do something now. I've learned something today. I've learned something that I could go and teach my kids. Fantastic. I've learned something that I could potentially start a business. And the idea was we wanted to always keep it within the city. So if like a big corporate gym came in, we'd go, sorry, but I know the trainers are local, but the corporation isn't. And there's so many local people that deserve it because of how hard they're working against you, who's got all these millions, these haven't. So it was always about local businesses, wasn't it? Yeah. And that's how it grew and built. And
we went from second one, didn't we? So we started off in Liverpool Uni, and it was a bit of a mad location looking back now. And then we went to Hope Uni, but it was the one in town. It was stunning to look at, and that was like 300 people and 250 people turn up.
This is like organically growing. January, the next one was May.
Yeah, we didn't really put too much money into it because we were like, we'll just take our time.
Like essentially when you walked in, it was a load of tables with tablecloths on, and that was it. There was no like decoration, there was no like theme to it. It was just come in, check it out.
Still Liverpool Health and Wellbeing Festival. So after our second one, that was brilliant because it was bigger, more space, and there was more vendors and stuff. And after it had done, we were still there, we were cleaning up. Ethan said to me like, right, next time we're going to rent that other room, rent this other room. And he was saying all these ideas which sounded great, but initially, before we done our first festival, we went to the Baltic Triangle, and the guy that was helping us out a little bit, he said, I found this place called Hinterlands. So we sat down with the owners and we told him our idea, and he went, yeah, I'd love you to do this because I'm into health and wellbeing and we'll help you out as much as you can. But when we actually seen the venue, it was stunning. It was everything we wanted.
Perfect location. It had everything that we wanted.
It was too big. And when we went back out the room, I just said to him, listen, we couldn't do that straight away in the first festival. Number one, it cost us a fortune. But number two, we wouldn't fill it.
It was such a big gamble that if it didn't work, it wouldn't work again.
So after the second one, I said to him...
Well, he said to us, didn't he, at the start, he went, well, go away, do what you need to do. Yeah. Learn, make mistakes. We're here if you need us. And then after the second one, he went...
let's go big or go home.
Yeah.
So then we invested in the company and we threw loads of money into it in terms of so we can decorate it, so we can get the venue.
But we rebranded, didn't we?
And then we rebranded because we just wanted that initial one word. And then Ethan found two words, eudaimonic, eudaimonia, slightly different meanings, but health and happiness, eudaimonia, and it's the feeling of health and happiness.
The best thing is people see it and go, what does that say and what does it mean? And then when they click onto it, it says a feeling of health and happiness. And literally when we took it Hinterlands, it was a fucking big gamble. We paid loads on banners and decoration and stuff like that, and we got a team of volunteers in. It was the hardest thing was we couldn't get the venue until 6 a.m. and the doors opened at 11.
My word.
Oh my god, it was fucking chaos. And we had so much space to do up in so little time, and we were like, fuck it, let's just go for it. And the only thing about that festival...
it was madness because we'd sold over 500 tickets online and it's still weighing at max capacity, but we had to set up at 6 and it was opening at 10.
We were there at 5. No, it was 11, that one, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
And we were there early and we were like, this is just going to be full on. And then there was more and more work to do. People were queuing up and we were like, the fucking speakers aren't set up. And we were just like, just let them come and... It was pissing down. Let them come in, sit down. And it was just a learning curve. We laugh at it now. At the time, we were just like bombing everywhere.
Chaos.
And we actually didn't get a chance to just step back till about 3 hours in because it was still chaos.
And then even then we had to do a talk or something, didn't we?
Yeah, we ended up getting, I think all in all, there was about 1,000 people.
Yeah.
The start of the year was 150. And it was just
so
like...
in 9 months...
mind blown, wasn't it?
Yeah, it just grew. And then we
shows the appetite that people do want to...
Yeah, it was incredible.
Want to get better.
And we were just like floating all day. there was after we just said, right, feedback, let's do it again, let's make it bigger, let's make it better. And then in the January wasn't it, we went back to Hinterlands.
Done it all
changed the setup, done it all differently. The best thing about that one was we'd done the workout room. It was like an all black room, black walls, black ceiling, clear floor, but it had like flashing lights, and we thought we'll make this amazing, and we bought 40 mats, it was 10 of each, and we bought some extra. Every class there was more people coming in.
There was nearly double
mats
in there.
Well, there was always like 50, 60 people in the room, jam packed in it. Like if it was meditation, we'd go and listen, just go double up on a mat. I remember doing a class, I've got a program called Sexy in 6, which are like 6-minute workouts. We got this sound system in, and I was in my element. I had a fucking mic on, felt like Mr. Motivator. I was just loving it, lights are flashing,
same rig out,
and just watching everyone just going, oh, it was unbelievable. And people who you didn't know, people who didn't know each other, were just like next to each other, just getting a sweat on or meditating. And I was like, this is it. This is what we want. It's fucking phenomenal. The buzz, the amount. No, we never had a bad word. Everyone was going, we just love it. It's been amazing. It's been fantastic. From like the background side of it, behind the scenes, to the actual production of it, to everything. The food was just amazing. And then fucking coronavirus just went, nah. And like this snowball was just going, yes. And it just went, no, pack it in. But at the same time, we were doing like retreats. So the retreats were basically a condensed version of the festival.
More personal.
So we'd only really have 15 people on it, but in the retreat you'd do yoga at the start, then you'd have like a juice and a cake off a local business, and then you'd have a workout. Then we might do a little walk to somewhere else in town. We'd do like a bit of paddleboard, anything like that, all local businesses. But they had me and Jack the whole time alongside them to say, what about this, pick our brains, or it was so personal. They were amazing. And same again, we had our biggest one booked in, where we were taking over this whole venue in Woolton called Woolton Fitness for All. Woolton's Fitness for All. They had everything. It was amazing. And like literally, it was the week of lockdown. They just went, we can't do it, and we just went, fuck. So that's kind of
everything just got put on pause.
So is all this then, that those festivals comes under although it's got a separate name, it comes under Liverpool Health and Wellbeing.
Liverpool Health and Wellbeing is the umbrella.
It's the website. And
it's the umbrella. So what we're building off that is eudaimonia, to be eudaimonia festivals and eudaimonia retreats, because it's easier to kind of...
And even like the directory is eventually going to be called eudaimonia, because we want to go obviously so if you digitally, and the website, then
we'll tell them what the directory is for people who don't know.
I will. And then obviously it wants to be an app. So the directory is, from day one we wanted to create a hub of health and wellbeing, so therefore people could access this hub and just locate wherever they are. And if they wake up on a Saturday morning and go, what should we do today, where are we? Well, oh my god, there's a yoga studio around the corner, let's go and do some yoga. And then there's a restaurant or a cafe around the corner from the yoga studio that's doing this healthy food. Now, touching on what you said before, Andy, like not everyone's doing plant-based meals and healthy things. That to us, okay, cool, but most people do salads. Most people do plant-based salads without advertising it as a plant-based salad. So if you're promoting that as health, then we're behind you. Like fully, like we'll promote you, we'll do this. But yeah, okay, we don't eat the chicken and the meat and stuff. That's fine. You don't have to be like us, but we want you to be aware that plant-based living is the healthiest source of food and nutrition you can get.
But it's great that the info is just there, isn't it?
Exactly.
If people want to delve in more to it, it's there, don't they?
Well, the idea with the directory, it's also you basically sign up to it, and it's got a forum which is attached to it, which allows people to ask questions, and it'll have like local businesses who are more educated or know that side of it, which they can tap in and say, actually, we do this, this and this, or we've learned this, this and this, and help kind of reach out to people. So rather than sitting on Instagram going, how can I find something to do with that here? Like Facebook got like good communities and things like that, but we wanted to just create one specific place where you go, all to do with health and wellbeing. So if there's a talk that's coming on this weekend, bang, it's top of the list, because we know we can educate you all.
It's almost like an Eventbrite for just the specific health and wellbeing
essentially
stuff.
And
or what's the other one, TripAdvisor or something like that.
Yes, but we wanted to just be honest and genuine, but local. And if you're not from the city, so when Jack went to Dubai, if there was something so simple where you could go, right, I'm in this city that I've never been to, what's going on? And they go, well, what do you want? Food, or I want to do an activity, or is there an offer on? We want to be able to, we're creating a...
Have you seen the website?
No.
Have a look at it, and after all this,
it's just liverpoolhealthandwellbeing.com.
Oh, he's fast at that, isn't he?
Faster than you.
I think everyone's faster than me.
So look, that's in Eudaimonia. That was one of the workout rooms. Who was that doing that? Is that Paris?
Probably.
Yeah.
So if you go to the directory,
mate.
And then
some do know that gig, mate. You don't, you sort of kind of being very humble at like getting that many people to come in and do that.
It was honestly, it was unbelievable.
To be honest, we haven't done it in a way where, as Ethan said before, where we can sit back and go, oh, that was all our doing. Don't get me wrong, we've now got a team, and if they listen to it, they've absolutely nailed it for us. They've smashed it. They work so hard.
Yeah, they've been incredible.
And it without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. But it's because we care. We want people to be aware of what's out there, but we also want to help the city in terms of...
Sorry, do you know, can your listeners see what you're looking at here? Yeah.
So, well, not if you're listening.
Oh.
If they're on YouTube.
Oh, right. That's what I meant. Your watchers. So then if you look at the likes of... For people who are just listening, on the directory, there's different categories that if you've got a business, you can be under. So we've only scratched the surface for who's available, for what's going on.
Yeah, I was thinking that because as you're talking, I'm thinking there'll be loads. I'll have to put you in touch with this person,
so
that person.
And that's what I mean. We want people to reach out to us and say, can we be on it? We want to be part. 100% come and you can actually go on that page.
Yeah,
and you go to the bottom and you actually apply to be on it. You just fill out your details.
Very simple.
And then it goes the links below and stuff. Yeah, of course, mate.
And that's all it is. We're not trying to say, listen, we know everything. We're at the top. Watch us, listen to us, do what we say. We want to be here and say, this is what we do. This is how we feel. But there's also a massive collective of these amazing people, businesses, all just trying to really help people.
Mate, it's a brilliant idea. Having that directory, it's something that...
I mean, that's what we wanted. We worked a lot on it through lockdown, which was sort of a blessing because to find the time, as I say, we're still training, so we still do that most days, most hours, and then we work on this during our spare time.
So seeing at the membership thing at the top, so can people be a member then, or?
So that's getting released soon, but not very soon. So what that is going to be is we've now reached out to everyone that signs up. We send them an email saying, listen, there's so many people that love the website, love the directory, but to help the people become happier, become healthier, have this boss lifestyle, would you be keen to set up a discount code for us? So then they could become a member on our website, and then by doing that, they can go into a food or a restaurant place or a gym and say, I've got this discount code off Liverpool Health and Wellbeing. And then you'll get like...
Similar to like the independent Liverpool
exactly,
thing.
Yeah. It's just everything to do with health and wellbeing. Yeah. So there's loads of people that do similar things to the likes of independent Liverpool, but it's a case of now we just want people to thrive. We know how easy it is to change little things in your day to become healthier, and we care, and I can't reiterate that enough.
Yeah, I can vouch for you on that. That's why, again, I was keen to get you on, because it's, despite lockdown, and like I say, it's been a pain in the ass for everyone.
Yeah.
It's someone who have known, who've had this idea, and the kind of, the heart's in the right place for before everyone's epiphany during lockdown. Of course,
and loads of people, and again, it's not to us, it's not like, look at all these doing this now as if they know something. To us, it's like,
it's great. It is great that people are making a change, and it's great. But at the same time as well, we shouldn't forget about the people who were doing it long before that.
Yeah, no, I know. I understand it. We'll never ever slag anyone off or whatever, but it's a case of, we have been doing it a long time, but we've got no time to spend trying to pick out these people that have just started something now. Like,
the thing is, like, there's a lot of people who are jumping on it, which you'd rather them jump on the health and wellbeing bandwagon or the health and wellbeing lifestyle than them jump on, do you know what, you can all have this fast food or what, all this shite or whatever, and be promoting that. So it is a good thing in a sense.
Hugely. And it's something that you guys might end up working. People might see that directory and go, can we get involved in it? And you never know. So
and the thing is, like, when we first started out, we didn't preach all this. I was all into amino acids and protein shakes, and like I keep saying girlfriend, my fiance, she
doghouse.
That's not, I'm going to keep saying that forever. And she used to say to me, babe, I can't eat eggs, they're killing me. I can't eat chicken. I go, babe, you need your protein, eat it. And that's just because that's what I was taught, and that was in my head, and as I say, it's what people are taught. If you're taught it enough times, or you're taught it from what you think is right, then that's what you believe. And then when we moved out, she said to me, because she lived with me mum and dad, she went, babe, I love you mum, but I'm fucking sick of chicken. And I was like, okay, that's fine, let's cut it out. And then we went through a phase of having loads of fish. The house fucking stinks of fish. Yeah. Let's try some other stuff. And then that's when it was around the same time as we were like, right, let's cut them out.
Yeah, we just done it together, didn't we?
The biggest thing was, right, what's the easiest thing to make? Chickpea curry. Okay, what you need? Instead of chicken, you use chickpeas. Instead of sauces, you make your own. And it's so simple. And once you make it, and once you start cooking, and you're putting your own stuff in it and going,
them sauces are so underrated for people that are just getting Uncle Ben's, like, cool, but you're missing out on them herbs and spices that are doing so many good things inside your body,
but also taste amazing as well.
Exactly.
It's so,
and it's right there in front of us. When Ethan said, touching back on his amino acid days and stuff, I used to be the same. I used to train, lift weights, and everything started to change when I started educating myself in terms of the way I move, the way I train, the way I eat. But it was like everything's just right there in front of us, but because no one's told us, there's loads of stuff that's just mainstream media, and you think that's the way life is, but it's not. Go and explore different paths, go and do different things. And one of my favourite things now is to do calisthenic training and doing gymnastics type training, whereas back in the day it was like all about pushing the 40s and getting them out and get a bigger chest and stuff. And now I can move freer. And then touching on the nutrition, it's like now I can create my own curry, and I can have a different taste every time, rather than just thinking I've got to go and get a frozen curry from Iceland. It doesn't work like that. It's just,
one thing we've learned
is a totally different lifestyle, and it's the best thing we've ever done, because we've done both. We've done that side where we think protein's the most important thing, when necessarily it's important, but it's not that important.
It's so hyped up.
Yeah, and then it's doing the weights, that's how you're going to get a bigger chest. It's not. Like, there's loads of different things that works, but because we've done two sides of it, we can only vouch for our opinions. And hands down, the way I train, I'm more hungry than ever. I just want to go in there and just, some days I'll just want to beast it, some days I'll take my time, some days I'll have 5 minutes in between different rounds and do loads of different types of training, and it's just totally different, and I'm enjoying every bit of it in terms of seeing the progress and seeing the rewards that I'm getting from it. And if I can preach what I practice, I know, like, I'm truthful for everyone then, and there's nothing I'm holding back, or nothing I'm unaware of, or I'm telling people a little false lie.
Like what I say to my clients is, I don't go, right, you can only eat plants, that's all you're allowed. It's
most
more,
of my clients still eat meat. Yeah,
it's more, try this, and rather than having 5 meals a week of an evening and it's just full of animal protein or animal products, just try something different. And if you don't like it, don't have it again, but just try it. Because once you try it and you realise, do you know what, that was fucking tasty, that. Do you know what, I actually felt it was quite easy to make. Do you know what, I actually feel alright off it. And then it's not about, right, everyone's got to go plant-based now, because people will just go, fucking shut up. Do you know what I mean?
It's a slow thing, isn't it?
It's just try
Once
it.
you learn about it, like,
try it. And one thing we always say to people is just question everything. Why am I doing that? What's the reason behind that? Why are they telling me to do that?
If your whole purpose is to just look good, which is fine for when you're 18, 19, 20 odd. I was the same. I always wanted that beach body. If that's your whole purpose, then you're missing 100 tricks, or you're missing 99 out of 100.
Don't get me wrong. It's good to look good, but
That's just a byproduct
of feeling good.
Yeah.
It's a byproduct of looking after your body.
Yeah.
Like, one thing I learnt massively, the thing that I gave up last was dairy. And once I gave it up, the difference I felt was fucking like magical. I was just like, because we're not designed to have another mammal's milk, as simple as you want to put it. But the inflammation and the fucking uproar that it causes in your digestive tract, and your body just like struggles to digest it. And then I looked into, I used to get a bad build-up of mucus. Constantly. I'd wake up with like 4 snotty tissues next to me bed.
If anyone's listening to this now and they've got this same symptom,
I used to drink a pint of milk a day, or I'd have a protein shake. Now, when I looked into it, mucus, the leading cause of mucus is dairy. So I was like, well, I'm fucking having it every day. Cut it down, seen a massive difference. And then disease can only survive in a mucus-filled body. So when you're having a lot of dairy, you might find that you're going to be quite sick quite often, because you've got loads of mucus, which any disease that comes in will fucking thrive in a body full of mucus, because it just sticks to it and it spreads and blows your mind. And then I found out that whey, when you get like a whey protein, which there's something on the shelf over there.
You don't let us back on though.
Whey protein used to be a waste product. So you'd get like a drum that all comes from the cow. All the heavy stuff would go at the bottom. So you'd get like your cream, then you'd get your blue milk, then your green milk. It'd all like level out in weight. Then your shitty red milk at the top. And then the top would be like this thick layer of Little Miss Muppet eating a curds and whey. Remember that fucking rhyme?
Curdle.
They used to just let it curdle and they just wipe it off and it'd go in the bin, because they're like, no one wants that. And then bodybuilders would eat anything to do with protein. So then the dairy industry seen a massive opportunity to say, well, we can make a fucking fortune here because it's going in the bin. Let's just say, listen,
and that's what that is.
This is full of protein. It's loaded with protein. And if you look at the back of a tub of whey or any protein powder, most protein powders, guarantee you won't know 70% of what the ingredients are. Even whey, people still don't know what it is, but they go, it gives me muscles. I'm like, it doesn't. That's a lot of like the placebo effect. It will help in a certain extent, but it goes towards your training and to what else you're eating and all this blah blah blah. But it's a fucking weight you should go in the bin, and people are eating it or drinking it, and that blew my mind. I was like, the dairy industry,
it's just absolute garbage.
The dairy industry puts so much money into advertising that
they were paying off like all them big companies.
School used to give away free milk and say it was good for calcium. There's more calcium in broccoli than there is in milk, but there's no money in broccoli than there is in milk, because we were taught that as kids and our parents were taught that. Have your cereal, have your milk, you need it. And it was just, that blew my mind. And it's all down to, as Jack said, follow the money. They're just trying to make more money. So they give it out and they get more cows pregnant and they give you more shit. Oh, it's fucking nuts.
It's down that rabbit hole, innit?
Yeah, it's nuts.
But mate, it's great that you're there though, mate, and you are teaching people, and like you say, people can kind of dip the toe in and get involved as much or as little as they want, and I just think it's awesome for the city.
Oh, I mean, it's good to hear that. We do get people saying it all the time, but it's because we like to run before we can walk, but we've also learned how to walk before we can run now.
That's the best thing about lockdown, isn't it? If you look at our Instagram, it's so quiet. We haven't done much on it over lockdown because we've just been... Because we like to keep as professional as possible, and we like to really put out like a nice message to reach as many people as possible. So we wanted to make sure we were doing it right, and we're not just jumping onto fads or doing it because other people are doing it. Like a big one, the keto diet. We're not just going to jump onto that because everyone's doing it. We're looking into things because we've researched it and because of the...
What is that? Can I ask you quickly on that? That keto thing, I've seen it. To me, it looks like the Juice Plus thing. Like that's that same kind of...
Well, if anything comes in a packet and it's a powder, where's it come from?
What is it?
Like if it's got other ingredients, so like powders from like spices and that, they've just been literally ground down from the plant that they came from, and they're just one whole food ingredient, as in turmeric. Something that comes in a packet, it isn't. Or if you say to someone, only eat a high-fat diet, the thing with like a ketogenic diet, there's been evidence of people going, well, I've got really good results short-term, but there's no long-term proof of it being good for your health and the long-term effect. Your body physically can't digest that much fat. But people are going, well, I'm in a state of ketosis, I feel fantastic. And I think a lot of it is a placebo effect.
So they're not using carbohydrates for energy. They're using fats. That's how it works.
Which per gram, you get more energy from fat than you do from carbs. Yes. That's just scientifically, mathematically, whatever. That's real. But to live on a solely fat diet, it's not healthy for your body because there's not a lot of fibre in it that's going to help break down the proteins and the products properties that are in the high fats. So much going on with your cholesterol in terms of like your arteries are just going to be clogged up, and
especially if you're eating meat and you go into a state of ketosis, your meal could, for example, be a ton of meat and an
avocado.
Yeah, maybe an avocado.
Even that avocado's great, but it's still very high in fat.
You couldn't have rice. You couldn't have, like I seen a post the other day and it said good for keto, bad for keto, and the bad for keto was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen, because these are some of the most nutritious, healthiest vegetables that you can get, and I'm like, why? Because it's a carb. So people misinterpret that and say to themselves, well, that keto diet, you can't now have a pear, or you can't now have a potato or a sweet potato, and I'm like, why are these people putting this shit out
The
here?
way to look at it, right, is...
I just thought it would look like a pyramid scheme, and straight away I thought it's got to be fucking all the shit.
Do you know where I first seen people like having these sachets? Fucking Wayne Lineker was promoting it in fucking
Say
Ocean.
no more.
And I was like, fucking hell, if he's onto it, Jesus. But the way I look at it, right, if it grows from the ground naturally, natural sunlight, natural rain, fresh soil, organically, it's there for a reason. It's got benefits in that have been proven to help us have longevity, to be healthier, to fight off all these, build your immune system, whatever. That's what it's there for. So to then cut out of your diet, for what fucking reason? Do you know what I mean? Why? Because some celebrity is trying to make a quick buck. It just fucking baffles me. I'm like, there's no simple way to do it. There's no quick fix. There's no way around it. If it grows from the ground and it's alive when you eat it, you're eating those live products. You're building your body to be healthier because of what you're eating. Why do you want to eat something that's fucking dead? That's the way you look.
What you need to say to people is stop trying to make things easier, because it works in some things, but stop trying to have an easy path, because it's not. There's no easy path. Like, it could take you 12 months to change your whole life, but in them 12 months someone could have done 6 weeks of what you look like, but they've now got a lifestyle, and then that person who's done 6 weeks is back to square one 10 times over, and you're like, why do you want to keep going like that? Don't get me wrong,
people are lazy though, aren't they? They just want the quick fix. There you go, on the table, convenient.
And that's the thing, it is.
There's always going to be something that comes out, something new all the time.
Fad. That's why it's good to have something that's there, what you've got going, because it's a constant. It's not a fad, is it? It's a constant. No, this is the kind of thing.
It's a lifestyle. That's what it's constantly about. Your life.
It's moving. It's mental health. It's a social thing, and then it's nutritious in terms of it's right there. Like, go and just have a look around. If you want to be a part of it, fill the form out. Send us an email. Send us a DM. Whatever you need to do. But
I'll put all the links in the description as well, mate.
But since I've had this lifestyle of, whether it be plant-based and caring more, it's the best feeling I've ever had in my life. Like, don't get me wrong, I've sacrificed a lot, especially when it comes to like the wages that I used to be on as a joiner, working in Sydney, prime location, like unlimited work, unlimited hours that I wanted to do. I've sacrificed it all, but now I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm the healthiest I've ever been, and I'll never stop preaching that, because I feel like, right, this is what I want to do. I'm in the zone, and there's nothing around me that is going to affect me and go, I might do this differently. Because I remember one time, it was last year, and I started to care about the world and started to care about the planet, and I was like, my car's running out of lease, I need a new car, and I went out and bought a Lecky car, and it's fully Lecky, and that's because the lifestyle I live now, I just want to feel like I'm doing my bit. And that's not for people to... I just feel like I just want to, as I say, do my bit, but also not rub it in people's faces. So I practice what I preach. I have a lifestyle. I'm healthy, I'm happy, and it's as simple as that. And I haven't done no massively major changes in 6 weeks. I've done it over 4 years, and it's not been easy, but it's been great. And
but also we're not like forceful of it, going, you have to do this. Like, some people do go that way, and some people go the other way. It's like, I'll say, this is what we do, this is why we do it, this is what you can get from it, kind of thing, blah blah. But it's like going back to like being sustainable and even recycling. When people go, I've seen there's a picture and it says, what's one bottle's different gonna make, like one bottle of recycling, and then it says said 7 billion people. So if everyone recycled one bottle, it's 7 billion. Do you know what I mean? Something as simple as that. It doesn't have to be, we're not trying to change the masses, because that's near impossible. We're just trying to, this is what we do. If you want to join up, jump on board.
It's back to the ripple effect, isn't it, what you said? And
constantly,
just give people a little nudge in the right direction. Like
Liverpool can come together for some amazing things, they can come together for some tragic things, but it's a phenomenal city, and we're very fucking proud to be part of it. And if we can make an impact, if we can leave a legacy of, I remember them two fucking brothers made a change, and everyone went, well, most people went really healthy, and Joe started making better choices, and it's one of the healthiest, if not the healthiest place in the UK. Imagine that.
People like that, simple, and if that directly helps
why not?
people,
do you know what I mean? Why can't we achieve that? Why can't someone be listening or watching this now saying, I wanted to do my own business, I love health and wellbeing, in fact I'm going to contact them, or I've got my own business, I want to take it to the next level, let's team up, let's do something that we can work together.
If you're listening and that's you, do it.
Come and get involved.
Well, yeah, it's been a journey and a half. Loved it, and we can't wait to just keep rolling, keep pushing forward, and we're excited more than anything. And as soon as
when are you looking to next get a big thing going, then, like the next,
that we're just waiting on a date. So we know that there's a guy doing a festival in September in the Echo Arena, and that's all like fitness, a little bit different to ours, but if he can do that and the government don't like say no, then we know we've got an idea of when we can drop another festival.
I think there'll be more retreats coming up, because retreats are smaller.
Yeah.
So we
let us know. We'll plug them on the podcast and that when you've got retreats.
Yeah, definitely. The retreats are amazing, because it's just a day of.
Well, I was actually speaking to Ant the other day from Little World, and he wants us to do one in the back.
Yeah. Before
the summer's up. So that's, you've heard it here first.
There you go.
And that's what I just told him live on air. So we've got loads of things that we'd love to do. It's just obviously our biggest thing is getting people together, and the biggest thing at the minute is we're not really allowed. So we're just trying to kind of work with that. And at the moment, the directory is the forefront of getting as many people on it to, even if people can't necessarily get to these sessions or go to these restaurants yet. Well, a lot of things they can, but it's more getting them out there, spreading the word, and growing this network constantly of what's going on and who's doing what and how we can make an impact and make a change.
That's it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
I know we waffled on a bit, but I hope we've inspired.
It's good that people know it's there, and like you say, if you do want to make a healthy change, then get on it.
Yeah, I hope we've inspired people to get up whenever they listen to this and just either go and train, go and do something new, or just do something to make them happy.
Just be a better human being.
Yeah.
Be healthier, be happier.
What a good way to end.
Yeah.
It's a nice one, that. Just be a better human.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Thank you very much. 2 hours and 4 minutes went quick, didn't it?
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.